Hello everyone, today I wanted to share a little gem that I found on Adafruit. This is a faithful and functional replica of the 555 timer integrated circuit. The 555 timer is probably the most produced integrated circuit of all times. It's been used absolutely everywhere. It's used in appliances, it's used in radios, it's used in practically everything. Is being used in spaceships, so it went to space. It's used by the military. They have a military version in many military equipments. The first thing you get when you open the box is you get a board. The board is actually quite large. As you can see, it's actually probably 100 times larger than the 555 circuit. You get a small two-page manual on how to assemble it. The 555 timer that we have here is actually a reproduction of the internal circuit of the 555 timer. So basically what you get is you get a small board and as well as transistors and resistors, and you can solder those resistors and transistors to that board in order to make a circuit that reproduces the internals of the 555 timer. So instead of an integrated circuit, really what we're going to produce today is a disintegrated circuit. So it's the exact opposite. We're basically going to take individual transistors, individual resistors, and instead of them being etched on a piece of silicon, we're actually going to solder them one by one on a little board. The interesting part about all of this is that once we're done, we have to install the legs. And I need to say something. First, I thought that there was a problem because there's actually 4 legs, but they are actually made of aluminum and they are in one piece. So I was afraid that they were going to contact with the 4 contacts on each side, but no, they are not. In fact, there's a tiny piece of rubber between the legs and the board. So in fact, the legs are actually isolated from the board. The legs are non-functional, which actually was a bit of a disappointment, but that's actually also a good thing because you don't want to short all the connectors on each side. So as you can see, there's this tiny piece of rubber that's separating the board from those legs. So again, the legs are non-functional. And in fact, what you have to do is you have to actually use the connectors directly. And so in fact, what you're doing is you're attaching the wires to each one of those poles. So you get the 8 poles, and now you do a tiny circuit, and I'm getting ready to actually turn on the circuit for the first time. So I haven't done it yet, and it's actually the first time. I made sure it was working with an actual tiny small 555 timer, but I haven't tested the big one. So we're going to make a LED, which is here in the middle of the picture. We're going to make it blink. That's the simplest thing you can do with a 555 timer. So with no further ado, I need to connect that positive red wire to my little breadboard, and here we go. It blinks. So this is it. We're done. I will have a second part because I realized that I wanted to do a super short video, but I realized that this 555 circuit is actually probably needs some explanation of how it works, and I didn't want to have a super long video. So I'm going to actually cut that video in parts, and I will have a second part where I explain the circuit that I'm going to actually test today. So if you're looking for that circuit, if you're looking at how to use the 555 circuit, it's going to be in the second video. But this is a fully operational 555 circuit. I took this picture to show the relative size of the 555 timer compared to the board that we just assembled. This 555 timer was built by Texas Instruments. It's a very recent model. Texas Instruments is the leading manufacturer of 555 timers in the world. We're producing still about 1 billion units a year, and they're absolutely everywhere. You probably have many 555 timers at home, probably in your fridge, in your dishwasher, in your car, in your stereo. They're absolutely everywhere. So a 555 timer again. This is this tiny thing on the red pole, on the VCC pole, compared to this board that we just assembled. There's a huge form factor there. But the one we just built works just fine, exactly like a 555 timer. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.